Hello and welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice for everything Nintendo. This is episode 133, recording on the 4th of April 2018. My name's Lewis Pugh, and joining me to talk all things Nintendo, we have Harrison Milfeld.
What up?
And joining me to talk some things Nintendo, we have Colin Crompton.
Hello.
Some things. Are we branching out? Colin, you branching out?
Yeah, I'm gonna have my own solo show before you know it.
Sorry, I thought you were bringing a PS4 game. I do apologise. On today's show, we do have some what we've been playing, and I do believe it is all Nintendo. We have some Nintendo news, and we don't have a super topic this week. We have a regular topic, one of our own hand-picked features, where we're going to be talking about Switch peripherals that we would like to see in the future. But to start with some what we've been playing, who wants to go first? I'm gonna see who jumps in.
Oh,
I'm pointing to Colin in the screen right here. I feel like he.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll jump in. So, I've been playing a fair few things, but I thought I'd talk about two of them mainly. So one of them is Skyrim. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim lately on Switch. On the Switch, Lewis, not PS4.
Are you sure? Can you prove it?
Just look at my playtime on my profile.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is your first time ever playing Skyrim in any form, or did you?
No, it's like my fifth.
Fifth.
So yeah, I played Skyrim on PS3. I played it on Xbox. I played it on PC. I played on a variety of platforms. So I honestly, so recently Skyrim went on sale on the eShop, so I thought I'd grab it while it's on sale. Mainly because I was curious about how it runs on a handheld system. Not docked, obviously. So, but yeah, it's Skyrim on Switch, and that's the best I can say about it. It's the full game in portable mode. It's Skyrim, and everyone should know what Skyrim is by now. It's a 7-year-old game that runs great on Switch.
I can confirm, Colin's account at least has played Skyrim.
We have visual evidence, everybody.
For over 40 hours.
Yeah, I sunk some time into it.
I think that's more. Yeah, that's more than any time I've ever played Skyrim. I got about halfway through and I just gave up. Not because I hated it, it's just because things kind of got to it. And my coworkers and people at work, when we talk about Skyrim, they ask me, "Why haven't you finished?" I'm like, I don't know where my 360 is right now, so I can't really go back to that. So that's a different type of story. So
the issue with Skyrim is it's a huge time sink. It's one of those things you do. I'll do one more dungeon. I'll do one more quest. And the game just sort of hooks you in that way, which is a great problem to have with games.
Yeah, it's your most played game on the Switch so far.
It currently is. Yeah, which is bizarre.
I'm curious though, how many hours did you put into Breath of the Wild if you had to go back and look on the Wii U?
Easily over 100. Yeah, way. Yeah, I will use my plugged in, so I can't check it right now. But yeah, it was 120 something. You
can't plug in your Wii U right now because the first time you do, it's just going to cry like, "Where have you been? What's going on? Please play with me."
It's just going to explode out of shock. It's like, where have you been?
I'm going to be played with.
The house is full of cockroaches.
Exactly. Just always bugs just come out of the system. But yeah, it's Skyrim on Switch. It runs beautifully on Switch. The load times are really short, which I really like. They seem to be shorter than other platforms I played it on, so that's a good positive. I don't know if because I'm not sure if that's because I downloaded it or whatever, but I can't really compare to the cartridge version. But yeah, it ran silky smooth. No crashes, no bugs or anything, which is rare for a Bethesda game. But then it is 7 years old, so you would kind of expect it at this point.
You would hope.
Yeah, they did a great job porting it. It runs silky smooth, and it looks good. It looks really good on Switch. So,
it does look deeper. Have you been playing more in handheld or just docked mode?
Handheld more than docked mode. I would say in handheld it looks a lot clearer than docked mode. Docked mode, I find most games like the handheld games look a lot better than docked. That's kind of the one negative I would say about the Switch. But yeah, it still looks good, docs. I don't know, the game looks terrible, but it's very noticeable in certain areas. There's a lot more things popping in docs mode that's not there in handheld. It's an interesting little thing. But yeah, no, handheld is definitely my preferred choice when it comes to Switch. But yeah, so I'll move on to my second game, which Lewis called me salty for what I said about this game. Yeah, I didn't say anything negative about the game. Okay, so
always very carefully worded.
No, it wasn't very carefully. I played ARMS. I took part in the Test Punch. Is it called Test Punch?
Yes, Global Test Punch.
Yeah, I tried it out. I was like, here we go. I was going to dive in because it's free. I was going to dive in and see what I think of it. I did 4 or 5 matches. I think I did 5. And my overall opinion of it was
a resounding meh.
Yeah, overall, I mean, bear in mind, and this is like Lewis brought up. I played it single player. I played by myself, and Lewis mentioned that local, it's a great game. Local multiplayer. I'm like, that's the thing. I can absolutely see the potential of this game being a huge fun with friends with you, but by yourself as a single player experience, there wasn't much in it for me.
So also, just to check, you say single player. This was still the online mode, right?
It was still online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still play online, but I'm playing it by myself.
Gotcha.
I mean, the game's good. It had a lot of charm. I would say that. The presentation was good.
Good music.
Good music. Actually, yeah, very good music. I wasn't shocked I've heard it before, but yeah, I was like, it's good stuff. But I just, gameplay-wise, it just kind of felt... I don't know, with fighting games, I do tend to lose momentum of a game, like after a few matches, like I was getting the same. With ARMS, it hit that point sooner for me. It felt like I hit that. Oh, this is starting to feel repetitive. I felt it very quickly. I don't know if I just have like poor opponents because these guys I was fighting just stood there basically let me beat the hell out of them. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, it has potential for bigger and better things, I think.
I think that really is, and we discussed about on the show that, I mean, I haven't really gone back to it. I haven't done the whatever the monthly things they do that are, again, I'm losing, my mind is blanking on what they do for like not test fires, but Splatfest equivalents of like just two. Lewis may know, but again,
yeah, party crashes.
Thank you. Again, I know this is like the second or third time I mentioned the show, and I blank on it, but it's a. The thing that should have incentivized me to get back into it, but to me, it's the one thing I think is keeping like the online community of this alive, and this has been reported, is that there's a handful of competitive people who actually get into this, and I kind of hope at one point where it's a few tweaks or updates to it, that at some point that it kind of grows a little bit more. But obviously, it's just kind of become that, it's that bit of a wild bit of a Nintendo IP that had some bit of mild form of a success. It sold over 1 million copies, but for a new IP like that, this is generally what people thought Splatoon was originally going to sell, and it just be kind of forgotten. Yeah. Thankfully, that was not going to be the case, and I really don't. Hopefully, though, when you see in the next Smash Brothers that, who knows, you have like Spring Man or Ribbon Girl or any of the other colorful, like unique cast of characters that ARMS does have, and that's its bit of its charm to it. I really love, is able to kind of bring a little more attention to it.
Yeah, that's part of the presentation. I think the actual characters themselves are very well designed. They're very colourful. They've got great personality.
So on that note, Colin, who did you pick? Who are you playing as? Who are you drawn towards?
Actually, I played as Ribbon Girl for a fair bit of it. I did try Ninjara for a few rounds, but I think I tried Spring Man once or twice. But yeah, it overall, I said it was just kind of like, I can see it being fun, but it's all right.
It didn't grab you, Colin?
No, it didn't. No, the ARMS didn't grab me. So,
they didn't grab you.
Block. Well done, Colin.
Yeah, I think the reason why it didn't grab you though is because you wisely blocked and hit one of the arms. That way, it didn't grab you. That's why. That's why. See, I see. I can make an arms movement into a metaphor. A metaphor here.
I beat you to it there.
You brought that back, Harrison. Yeah, I didn't try it with motion controls. I didn't want to.
Oh, you didn't?
I never did either.
I don't hate myself enough to do motion controls, Lewis. So
maybe it's part of the problem. I feel. I mean, I know you can play ARMS with buttons, but I feel it is like a motion control game for me.
You think? I don't want to go back to it now. I'm not a fan of motion controls. If it's motion controls based to get you fun out of it, I'm out.
Oh, fair enough. It works well, though, which is good.
Oh, yeah, that's the important thing. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
I had a question, Colin.
Go for
Outside of these two games, I'm not sure you mentioned it on the podcast. Apologies if you have, but I saw also on the play activity Resident Evil Revelations #2.
I was going to talk about it once I finished it. I'm still currently going through it, but I can talk about it a little bit actually. Good game. Overall, good game. The longest load times though I've encountered on Switch so far.
Ooh. How?
We're talking like a solid 2 minutes between like.
Okay, so Twisted Fusion territory. Okay,
if you die, it's like loading. It's like here we go. Go put the Switch down, let's have a nice drink, and come back later. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, so far really good, really scary, which is a nice little return to the series. And
you played #1 originally, right?
I have played #1. I played it twice. I played on 3DS and Wii U.
How does it compare?
They're very similar. Very similar indeed, yeah. I would say 2 so far has the better storyline to it, because 1 has this really cool fact, and that's the ship. The ship is scary. Then they take you off the ship. And you're running around.
It kind of falls apart, doesn't it?
Exactly, and it's like, oh, well, I don't know what's going on here, but okay. The second one's all set on this island, this abandoned island, which isn't abandoned. So sorry, abandoned island. But an island, then, if you will. But it's entirely contained on this island. There's no like offshoots, like now we're in the jungle. Bizarrely, yeah, it's all. So far, it's very good. The plot is actually really well written. I would say the script, whoever wrote the script, didn't do a very good job. It's very childish in places.
Like, is it like the script for the Resident Evil? Or?
No, it's worse than that. It's just the fact that like
worse than a Jill sandwich.
That's cheesy though. That's kind of like that's
cheesy.
Corny.
Well, the thing is with Jill, see,
they do bring up the Jill sandwich thing.
How?
Yeah, like
well, one of the characters you can play as is Barry from the very Resident Evil, who coined
and he knows it's Jill sandwiches.
He coins the Jill sandwich phrase, and he says to the other main character, "You will almost declare a sandwich," and it's very tongue in cheek, and it's very
because that's kind of assuming that's like a well-known thing.
Exactly.
Now, when they did the Resident Evil remake on the GameCube, obviously a lot of the bad, Ed Wood, like stuff you would see in an Ubi Bowl movie or anything that's like a Ed Wood film, like that was not in there, and also the terrible live action cutscenes they have in there were replaced. But the one line they did keep though that was really really bad, but they were able to tone it down was when Barry hands Jill a key. And it's like here's a lockpick. It's like here's a lockpick for you. It's like it'd be coming handy if you, the master of unlocking, could be able to something like that. And I didn't know what people were. I remember reading magazines to the point like, oh, this is one of the worst lines in the game. Like, what is it? I read it in context. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really bad.
See, Revelations is a different kind of bad. Revelations 2, there's one character called Moira. Now, her whole shtick is, I'm gonna swear. Every other line, every other word is going to be a swear word. And I'm like, and that kind of writing irritates me. Because you're in the middle of like a high impact scene and she's suddenly off going, I'm going to smash it, beep to the beep, to beep, beep. And it's like...
Nicely done.
It kind of takes you out the moment. It's like, you're not clearly scared then, are you? If you're trash talking this monster you're about to beat up. And it's like... kind of ruins the tension, Okay. So things like that in the script kind of confuse me. But... overall, so far, really good. But I'll elaborate more once I finish it.
Excellent. Yeah, I am interested to hear more. I guess, Harrison, we should mention this on the audio. Do you have anything you would like to bring to what we've been playing?
Well, I haven't really been playing anything the last week, but I have something kind of related to the world of video games or something like that I didn't really play but watched. I actually went and saw Ready Player One over the weekend. And I actually enjoyed it, knowing that I read the book first, and the reason my attachment to the book was when they announced the movie was getting made, that Steven Spielberg was going to direct, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm interested in this. And I read the book about a year ago, and this again was, of course, the book was published in 2011 and was got glowing reviews back then. And then since now, it has had a bit of a backlash, mostly for how it portrays different types of geek culture, and the fact that its protagonist is not really that good. He's kind of crappy in a ways, and I can definitely agree. But in the end, I got some bit of enjoyment out of it, and kind of understand the hate that the bit of the internet gets, even though the book is definitely catered to folks like us. I know, but me, white dude, essentially. And I know I get that. It just, but and I understand people who actually don't like it as well. I was like, I get it. I did it. It's fine. And again, the main reason why I'm interested in the movie was because it's Steven Spielberg. And if Steven Spielberg knows what to do, is that he's able to take a poor or mediocre source material and turn it into a good movie. He did it with Jaws. He did it with Jaws. He did with Jurassic Park. So he's able to do that. I went and saw it. And it wasn't a dumpster fire, and the thing that I really got worried that going
that's a positive review.
No. I mean, I give this a solid 3 out of 5, and really, it's a spectacle to look at as far as visually, even if it's some bad things kind of still get into the book. But I will say it's like Spielberg went into the movie and basically just took the basic concept of the whole novel and just kind of ripped out all the guts out of everything, and just kind of like the protagonist is a little bit more thinned out, but he still seems like a blank state. And thankfully, the other female protagonist in one actually has something to do, and it is not like a trophy, basically, for the main character in the book. And in terms of the pop culture references, which I know people would share excerpts online about, it just reads off like a Wikipedia, like the author did like a Wikipedia article. Like that's essentially what you would be doing about it. But for something like 80s and 90s references, it works better in a visual media where just past that in the background, you're just like, you think in your head, I'm like, oh, that's Hello Kitty stuff. Oh, that's Gundam. That you say that in your head. And I think the thing that really gets me that I like
during a fight scene, perchance.
Yes, this was.
Fair enough.
Okay. No. There's actually 4 separate main set pieces of the scene like that I really liked in the middle segment of this one, which revolves around I won't spoil it for anybody, and it's something that's worth the price of admission. It revolves around a really classic horror movie, and to me, that's like there was at least when I was at the theater, there was audible gasp from everybody, like they're actually doing this, and it almost recreates every bit of the scene, and it gets better when something happens to one of the characters who's never seen the movie, and to me, I thought that was really good played out. But of course, Spielberg worked his magic. He was able to work all those little intangibles and things in the movies that make it kind of just a fun, watchable movie. In terms of his whole filmography, I rate B tier Spielberg, probably like in his like the middle half of there. It's not as great as E.T. or Raiders or Jurassic Park, but it's nowhere worse like say Always or 1941 or something like that. It's really in that middle portion of there, and but I'm just glad it improved the things I found a little bit abhorrent about the book. And I don't know, me and a past guest, Earl Rufus, we actually talked about the book on a podcast, one that he actually just recently started. And I was on the side of like, I kind of enjoyed the book, but I can understand it. He did not like the book, but he was excited to see the movie, and I'm not sure what his thoughts are at the point. But all I can say is I enjoyed it. I really did. It's not my favorite of the year, but I was like, okay, it's nice to see fun Spielberg again. And before you ask, were there any Nintendo references in there? I'm like, I only spotted 3. One was verbally, and it's not necessarily straight on Nintendo, and 2 were more visual gags. Not gags, but they're posters. And one's near the end where I had to freeze frame, and I'm just like, oh, I know what that is. And
zoom in.
No, zoom in. But it kind of makes sense to the overall ending of the book, where it's like, did they put that poster there because it matches with what's going on there? But yeah, I don't know. That's what I counted. But it was fun. It was fun, and I know this is one thing the internet just likes to punch on there, and I've read countless articles about how this is the worst things of geek culture represents, and no, I get it. I totally do. And it's like, yeah, I did. I mean, I totally know that a lot of stuff on here is catered to, people and me who grew up in that one, and it would be nice if there was other things from that era. So, but enough of me talking. I'm talking about a movie, and we're talking about, but that's what I wanted to share my thoughts on.
That's fine. That's good. It's interesting. It's different. Yeah. I'm intrigued to watch it. I've not read the book. So
I hope you'll be able to get through it. I mean, it's not. I
know
know
I'm going blind on it, so I'm intrigued to see how it turns out. But from what I've heard, everyone says it's pretty good. I've had some friends that said, "Yeah, it's really good." So okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds good. I am intrigued. I'm not committed yet, but we shall see what happens in the future.
Committed. I mean, that gets to a point. It would.
However, I have a very fun, a very jolly game to talk about.
Oh,
I'm not sure its full name, but I bring to table either AOT 2 or Attack on Titan 2. Depending where you look, it will be spelt one or the other.
Can I give a reasoning right here? Okay, I'm familiar with Attack on Titan, but I have never watched a single episode of the anime or any of the
me neither.
Not a problem. Do you kind of know the general gist at all?
Big dudes attack and little guys beat them up.
There's attacking and there are titans. Okay,
we'll take it from there. Yeah.
So yeah, this is a game based off the anime, in which in its most simplest form, I guess, is that in the world they live in, there are these giant titans. But what they are is essentially gigantic human beings, but not very smart ones. And they eat humans. And so the humans have built this giant like fortress, this big wall at least around them, several walls in. The more walls you have around you, the better. You probably have lots of money. And one day, a titan gets through the wall. Exactly, and kills a lot of people. And the general story, obviously, there's lots of characters' stories and other bits. Is that the Titans are getting into the city, and the human race has to start fighting back. And the way the human race starts fighting back is they've developed this rather nifty mobility gear, and it lets them like zip around the city, kind of like Spider-Man. But in addition to zipping around the city like Spider-Man in groups, is this gear also has swords, and so they can like Spider-Man their way up to the head of a Titan and cut the back of the neck, and that's the most effective way to take him down.
Like straight away, you've partly sold me on this game just by zipping around the city like Spider-Man
and taking down these gigantic beasts. And just to add a little bit on that, I guess this is the sales pitch now, is that the game really captures that whatever that is that the show represents, those fight scenes, it feels like you're playing them. And it's those actual types of scenes, which is really quite bizarre because you see them and you're like, oh, no way could you replicate that in a game. But it does. It's really quite impressive. And it takes a little while to get used to it. It's a little bit like, the old rubbing your belly and tapping your head at the same time. Because you've got buttons for your movement and buttons for attacking, but that's also movement based.
Right.
And so it took me a little while to realize, oh, I need to press this one distinct button to like zip away to the nearest building while I'm next to a Titan, and a separate button to like zip into the Titan, opposed to just trying to use the button to zip towards what's in front of me. And it also adds a couple of layers into the battle mechanics where you can zip towards an enemy and then you need to boost to get enough speed to make your blow fatal. And it's made by a Megaforce. I probably should have prefaced at the beginning. And it does have a bit of that Warriors DNA in it, which I think works mostly in its favor. And so in addition to like this really cool combat system, it doesn't feel like Warriors at all, apart from possibly when you're just like running on the ground. That bit kind of feels identical, but everything else is completely different, which is what you're doing most of your time. Most of it is in the air. And you can like level all your team up and your gear, and you can like buy materials to upgrade your gear as well. And you can, outside of battles, you can just wander around the town. Okay. Which is quite cool if you've played the anime, because it is this nice 3D recreation of this city, and you can talk to all the different characters, and you can build up relationships with them, and you can like earn skills and items and such by doing that. And another thing I didn't mention is that although it follows the story of the first and the second series, which is the entirety of it so far, you play as a custom character.
Okay, that's cool.
And so there's a fairly extensive create a character bit at the beginning, which is quite cool because the main cast are part of this military unit, as it were, and so you kind of making a character who would fit that, which works really well. And the odd thing about it is the story is those 2 seasons, and so what they've had to do is add in a new guy or girl to the party who is your custom character.
Right.
But they don't do anything significant to the story.
Well, they can't,
but they're there for every significant moment.
Right.
So they're really kind of terrible character. They're in all these important things, and they never contribute. They're there and they watch. So and they do the most smallest token of thing to just be around.
Okay. So if you're a newcomer to the series, you've never heard anything about it, you've never seen any episodes, never read a page of the book, is this easy to get into?
I would say yes. If you're up for the general idea, totally, because it does cover that story of those 2 seasons, and because of that, it does explain the whole story afresh, and so it is retelling that story, and you didn't need any background information to enjoy that show originally, and it works in the same way. So yeah, it's actually quite a nice way to kind of catch up on it. Because I've not even seen season 2 yet.
Right.
I've seen all of the first season, but from what I've seen of the story so far, which is really well redone in the engine, I'd be happy to see the season 2 story bits in this before I even see it in the show. I think it's quite a testament to the quality of it, because they don't use just scenes from the anime. It's redone in that engine, but it works really well.
Okay. I might have to try this out. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Attack on Titan. I've always been intrigued by it, but I never dove in. So maybe this is a good gateway.
And the other thing is, I've not played around with it, but there is seemingly a quite extensive multiplayer mode. Which this bit may get Colin's interest. And so with a group of, say, around 4 people or so, you can go out and hunt these gigantic monsters, titans, but you're doing it in this lethal Spider-Man-esque fashion, which is quite cool in itself. But that
Monster Hunter with Spider-Man.
Essentially, yes, it's kind of what it is, and it's got that similar type of loot mechanic. It looks pretty similar, and it's got lots of emotes and such built in, and it does seem a lot geared towards it in the menus. But I've not tested it myself yet.
Well, that's on my radar. There you are.
Definitely. So, yeah, I'll try some online at some point and I'll report back. But no, that's cool. I think that's going to do it for what we've been playing.
And watching.
And watching. I guess a very small thing to add is I played the new Fire Emblem Warriors DLC.
Oh.
The third DLC pack came out, which also included Faja and some other brilliant characters. I can't remember who they are now.
Good.
There's 3 of them, and one of them's Faja. That's all you need to know, really. New maps as well, and other bits. But yeah, it remains a good game. Lots of characters.
Good. It remains good. There you are. Sold.
Well, that's kind of what you want with a Warriors game. You just want this. Assuming it's one you like, you just want this constant drip of content.
You want consistently good characters to play as. Yeah, definitely.
And that will do it for what we've been playing. So let's move on now to the Nintendo news. And the first thing we have is news that Nintendo has a new engine, which is the bezel engine, Nintendo Wear bezel engine even. And this is an interesting one, how this story has been developing, because we kind of heard about this just recently.
Yeah, recently, and I know someone was mentioning that this was mentioned in the past, but it was now a public demonstration of this.
That's right, yeah. But apparently, as part of this public demonstration and them naming what it is, it's kind of come out the woodworks that it's already been used in some Switch games. That story's kind of developing. But yeah, it's an interesting one. This so essentially it's a Nintendo-made middleware programming tool for people to make Switch games. And I don't really know that many details about it yet, but it's all geared towards like making games quickly, essentially.
Okay.
But I don't really know much more beyond that. I don't know what sort of technologies it's using, but yeah, I think that's the main thrust is to be able to make a good game in a small period of time and a small budget. They also call out. But yeah, this is cool. It's hard to comment hugely without knowing more than that. But yeah, we've seen a couple screenshots on it, and I was kind of oddly getting like almost Nintendo Land graphical vibe out of it.
Yeah, I got that, and then of course there's once you go into the comments, I think of this one tweet, everybody's like, "So when's this character going into Smash?"
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's always the answer.
That's going to
right next to the nondescript action figure.
Yeah.
I even that's like I hope that's a trophy. That come on.
Oh.
Okay, come on, Colin. There's more just as obscure things than that we've seen as trophies, for instance.
Yeah, but they have like some sort of history or purpose. A nondescript action figure.
Or have been featured in an actual Nintendo game. I think that's the minimum requirement, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that is true. I would say who
or
knows?
Nintendo system.
No, there is always Captain Rainbow.
Oh, of course.
He has been featured in a game, even though it came out here in the West.
A game with his own name on it. That's bonus points there.
I know, bonus. But no. But as far as this new middleware type, this is going to be very good for indies, though. I mean, that able to just open up the door more for as far as the tools that they can, go a little bit more what they can do in their own sandbox.
Oh, definitely. It kind of meets those kind of two main requirements, which is you want to be able to make as much game as you can for the time you've got.
Exactly.
And you want to do that on a small budget. And then kind of like the two things this points out is, yeah, that's what we wanted to do out of this engine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and then I know that somebody in the comments are going to be like, this was already mentioned about years ago. I'm like, yeah, like I said, it's just, this is the first that we got out of public, I think. So, so I don't know. Yeah, this is, should be interesting.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I hope I hear more.
I hope you, yes.
Next up, we have some news on, or at least a comment, information on Shenmue 3, in quotes, coming to Switch. So, with a recent interview by Yu Suzuki, who is the director of the Shenmue series, he was asked the likelihood of Shenmue 3 coming out to the Switch. Now, the Switch is actually being announced, because that happened after Shenmue 3 was announced.
That's right.
And let's get the comment here.
It's pretty.
When asked by Gameblog, Suzuki's reaction is, "It's classified information."
Yeah.
Laughs, and then further then interrupts his next question, which was, "Excuse me, wait a second. Regarding Switch, I would like to say that nothing is planned for the moment."
Oh, way to fan the flame, Suzuki.
There's a classic retraction. Yeah,
is that classic retraction, Colin?
Well, normally the actual standard reply is there's nothing's been announced yet. Usually it's like we haven't got anything to say on that.
Did any of us ever play any of the past Shenmues? I briefly played the first one, and it didn't really grab me, but I respected it, and it's, I don't know, the entire environment for me, it felt like a lot of busy work for me as far as when it comes to a story I was trying to get invested into. Like, between that and him asking like if he found any sailors, so I know that's the joke. That's the joke meme, the old joke meme.
Yeah, the other ones is it was on that one rainy day. It's like there's like one day that it rains.
That one rainy day, Colin.
One rainy day.
It's actually raining out now for me. So yes. That one rainy day.
Shenmue 3 confirmed.
Yes, you've heard it first.
But to answer your question, I think yes, I finished the first one. I got through a good chunk of the second. I do enjoy the Shenmue games. I love how kind of involved they are. There's a lot of day-to-day.
There's a lot of freedom there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
and not progress the story.
Yeah.
No, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the sequel okay? It was canceled. The Dreamcast version was canceled in the States, but released on the Xbox here. Didn't you in Europe get the Dreamcast version, or both, or
I played it on Xbox, so
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure if the Dreamcast version ever got released, because I know when the Dreamcast died, basically Microsoft pretty much brought all the rights to basically Sega's back catalog for nothing. That's why they got Jet Grind Radio or Jet Set Radio over here.
Oh, so they bought the catalog of these are pretty good obscure ones, but we weren't sure how to market them and succeed. So yeah,
pretty much.
Panzer Dragoon, Ortus, Jet Set Radio, and Shenmue. Okay, they're out. Why did they fail? I don't know.
Yeah, it did feel like it because the second Shenmue was nowhere near as good as the first one. Shenmue on Switch. I don't really see it happening, to be honest. I think Shenmue is probably too far along. Plus, they're aiming for PS4 and PC, so I don't know. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely overall.
Yeah, I think for something that is, because it's already passed. It's long past its crowdfunding when it announced almost 3 years ago. Jeez,
it's controversial crowdfunding. Yeah,
I know that I know the Dreamcast version of this the sequel did get positive. I think it was the Xbox one. It was slightly lower, but then again, I don't know. Would it be nice to see this? Yeah, would. Am I holding my breath? No, not really.
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, I guess quickly to give my Shenmue background, I've played very little of Shenmue. However, I have watched 2 full playthroughs. One of Shenmue 1 from Giant Bomb. And then I was disappointed to find out they didn't continue it, so I watched it on Game Trailers. They did a play session quite shortly afterwards.
Nice.
Number 2. And yeah, I actually felt I got quite a lot of the experience out of just watching those, which feels
it's very cutscene heavy. Those games.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the weird thing about that is I am quite looking forward to Shenmue 3. Despite not really having played much of Shenmue. But I have experienced a fair bit of it. And yeah, it would be cool to see it on Switch. I would also, just in general, whether it was Switch or not, would like to see a 1 and 2 remaster, remake, something.
I was going to say that, yes. That'd be really good.
On a modern system, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. It's a good way of reintroducing a series to a new audience. So yeah, they should do that totally. But see.
All right, let's jump on to our next bit of news around Pokemon Go. We all playing Pokemon Go still?
No.
Every day?
No.
I've never played Pokemon Go.
Still have not, even with a new phone.
No.
This news story is around, let's get the right wording, the Pokemon Go Fest, which happened last year. And it apparently didn't go down very well. We reported it at the time. Most of the people there wasn't able to actually play the game because of network congestion. Apparently, it was just generally badly planned and other bits. And I think the main thing is people couldn't play the game to which there was a fest for. The entire point was to collect rare Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, that and it was bad. I mean, it's bad for people who traveled very far distances to actually go to this. And next thing you know, they're like, yeah, it's not working right now, but here's $100 worth of in-game Pokecoins.
Exactly. Yeah, but that did not satisfy the fans. So the news now is that Niantic is paying out $1.6 million over this to claim. If you were there, that's step 1. You have to have been there. Step 2, you need receipts. And that's basically it.
Gotta need those receipts.
Yeah,
you got receipts for your expensive travel. You're all good.
I just want to say 1.6 million, that's like a drop in the ocean now to Niantic. They're breaking in with Pokemon Go, surely. You know what I mean? That game was that exploded when it first came out. And then, it simmered down for a bit. But then every time something new, an update came out for it, it blew up again.
I bet it's still making tons of money.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, easily. So that, I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Cool. Do you reckon we'll see another Pokemon Go Fest this year? Will it be bigger and better?
I don't know. Knowing if they actually have a better way to get everything in order, their connections, and actually have enough bandwidth, sure. But do they really want to take that chance again? Probably not.
I can see them doing a very cautious one. We're like, oh, there's only going to be one rare Pokemon, so don't all rush here at once. We'll spread it out across a whole month period. So come anytime you like.
Actually, that could be a weird way of doing it. Is maybe do a bunch of smaller events at the same time, just because they're all in different physical locations, and not gathering everyone at the same place.
That way, they can scale their servers or whatever it is they need to do.
Yeah.
For that area. Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see.
See, Niantic, we solved it for you.
Yeah, and add in more Pokemon there. Solved.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
that's always the other answer. And while we're on the subject, why don't we have, not that I actively play it, local trading and battling? What's the deal?
I don't know. Why don't you answer that for me, Lewis? Because I have no clue.
That should be day one stuff. Game Boy Classic was doing that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Where's the bread and butter Pokemon? You can't trade.
The one spot, basically, the one thing where it's like, wow, hey, the old Game Boy, guess what? One upped a smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. had a link cable. So
Well,
magic happened.
Technology at the time and all that, but yeah.
All right. Let's move on to something a bit more happier. Going to talk about some ARMS. All right, resounding noise there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Smash Bros? People like Smash Bros, right?
Yes, I heard the kids do love Smash Bros.
Kids
these days. They're Smash Bros. And they're
the kids respect ARMS, but they love Smash Bros. And where I'm going with this news is that the director for ARMS, let's get the full name. I've just got surname here. I should know that. That should be a fact I have in my head.
Kazuki Yabuki.
That's the one. So I have a quote from the man himself here. When asked about, will we see some ARMS characters in the next Smash? I think the correct reaction is to say, I can't answer that. Yuki said, that's it. No, it's not. There is more. Another thing I'd say is that ARMS is so young. It's only a year old. That maybe it's too early to think about that. But I think it's
just learning to walk.
I think it's absolutely fantastic that there are people out there talking about ARMS characters in that way.
There you are.
There we go. That's quite a non-answer, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so, yes.
There's a lot of words,
there's
nothing there.
There's no commitment there at all. It's just like, see what happens.
Wait, what was Sakurai had a gun behind him at the same point? Or like, you don't say anything right now. You just don't. But
that's fun.
I think it's obvious that this is going to happen. I mean, as we mentioned, but I think one thing we forgot to mention on the show, I didn't put on the notes though, but I could just briefly say is that there is going to be a Splatoon 2 and Smash Brothers Invitational in E3 this year. And when they mentioned the Smash Brothers Invitational, this is of the new game. And it got me thinking, like, I don't know, it's making, I'm trying to get all my conspiracy theory bits of like, is this, are they counting on the fact that these players coming in that are starting fresh, or are they going to get these people like the combat, like basically the people who are going to compete in this? Are they just going to go in blind knowing like, or is this going to be so drastically different or same for the retro version? I don't know. It's leading more to think like, what could this be? Again, it could be a updated port of the original, which I'd be fine with, just because hey, we have Smash on the go. But I mean, it'd be really cool if we actually see something that's completely new, knowing, and that would actually cement that Sakurai is an insane person that knows how to work overtime like no other.
Yeah. The thing about having the new Smash Bros at E3 for the tournament, I don't think really helps decide whether it's a port or not, because they essentially did the same thing for the Wii U game.
Yeah, that's right.
They had the tournament for it, the same E3 of its proper unveiling.
Yeah. Oh wait. Yes, you are right. You are correct.
I heard about that again recently, and I think the people playing it only had like a couple of hours with the game in advance, and that was their experience. So I imagine they would do a similar sort of thing, whether that was a port or not. If it's a port, they're going to have a much easier time, but they've done the non-port thing before. So
thank you for clearing that up, because I completely excuse my ignorance, I completely forgot about that. That was also the same summer where I waited in line for almost like 3 hours just so I could play the latest Smash Brothers at my Best Buy.
That's right, I remember that. Yeah.
I played as Mega Man and I won. So that was the.
Was it?
Worth it to an extent, yes. But
did you win a T-shirt? That's the question.
No, they ran out.
You stole it.
Oh, they were giving out T-shirts.
No, I did get a little.
Won that fair and square, Colin.
Oh yeah, that. But I did get a Smash sticker though. I did get one of those, but I gave it to a friend because I wasn't really keen on decorating better my laptop. So I but back to the whole ARMS thing, whatever. I mean, it just. If they're going to be revealing characters and things lead up to it, because this is the one thing I'm glad with the new Smash Brothers lead up is to, it's the hype cycle of when it comes to new character reveals. And we all had fun when those new little character trailers came out in between release. And if this game, say, is coming out like, say, September, October, or November of this year, maybe December, you know, what's the cycle going to be? Is it just going to be such a condensed version where it's going to be like every week or every 2 weeks where it's like, hey, here's a new character? Or is it just going to be like, well, here's our starting 5, or here's our starting few characters with a few new surprises. And then after the game releases, it's just going to be kind of like a Splatoon 2 situation, or even ARMS, where it's like, all right, we'll update this for free for these new characters every month or something like that. Which
yeah, I can kind of see them doing that actually.
I can't see Smash getting free characters.
Free to start out.
Yeah, I was gonna say free. For like the first 3 months of its launch, where they're still putting the game together.
I bet they made quite a bit of money selling Smash characters on the Wii U and 3DS.
There is, but I'm just trying to think. Well, were they?
I reckon there will be free updates.
I'm thinking.
Maybe
all the DLC characters were new characters we hadn't had before, but barring Roy. Roy was an old character, but he was given a fresh moveset. So. Technically, that counts.
What about Mewtwo?
I think for free updates, they could say like, here's Smash. It doesn't have all the old characters in it. It has the core Smash 64 characters from Genesis 64. We're gonna add more as free updates. Are
cool characters. That's a step back. That is.
Yeah, but I'm saying
a roster of almost 50 to 8.
Yes. but you're getting the core game in there.
Okay.
But then. They add in every 2 weeks you'll get a new character for an update. And then once they got all the old characters in, then they're like, okay, here comes some more characters that are completely new. We're starting from scratch, but you've got to pay us DLC. And they come with stage, music, and all that. Bells and whistles.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be a bit more traditional. I reckon it's essentially going to be the Wii U cast with about 5 extras in, between 5 and 10. And then they will announce a DLC pass type thing, or characters in the same way as the Switch, and then they'll add another 10 or so, maybe less.
It'll be interesting.
Over the duration of its lifetime after that point.
It'd be interesting if they carry over the characters from the Wii U, like DLC characters. So if Cloud's in it again, I'd be like,
I reckon so. I reckon everybody. I reckon no one gets lost.
Everybody. You don't think there'll be any characters cut?
3DS game, yeah. I reckon this is the base.
That's a bold statement because they've never done that.
No, they're not.
There's always been a character cut in there somewhere. So, maybe.
We shall see. Anyway, this one will take us nicely onto our feature for the week. But this news story is about a new Joy-Con, a non-official one, by Hori. And has a little addition of a D-pad. However, there are a few features you will miss.
Yes.
The caveats.
The big one, probably, no wireless communication whatsoever. Which means it can only be used whilst attached to the Switch in portable mode.
Yes.
Not even grip. Unless you've got a charging grip. No, actually, I don't think that would work.
Nope, it doesn't, because it actually has to receive to the console.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course it would. Yeah, it might have power, but you wouldn't be able to talk still.
Oh no. Although it'd be fun to actually joke that around with somebody who doesn't know about this and just say, playing Breath of the Wild, for instance.
Yeah, so that's one. So yeah, no wireless whatsoever. 2, no HD rumble or rumble of any kind.
I can live with that.
That's okay, how about this? That you won't be able to play ARMS quite the same way again. Number 3, no motion controls.
Oh, how tragic. How tragic. How will we sleep at night?
We won't. Simple as that. I think that's the trade. Was there anything else funky on the left Joy-Con?
I think that's it. Is it Amiibo? About Amiibo?
That's all right. The rights to real one because it's got the both the Amiibo and the IR camera.
Sensor it, yeah.
So I think we can just say for this one, while I know there's a sect of people out there that are demanding a D-pad for this from Nintendo, and Corey seems to have answered that prayers, but again, it's more than when you read about it, this doesn't seem worth it, really. It just is not.
Yeah.
However,
I would have preferred...
I was going to say, it's only fair to mention, and I'm not sure entirely how pricing differences usually work with Japanese pricing and outside of Japan, but this is for 2,678 yen, which works out to
$25?
About $25 US, which is
it.
a lot less than a Joy-Con. And so it's not like you're paying the same amount.
$15 lower, so.
You're missing half the guts of the thing, so that's why,
Oh, true, but I mean, like, if you go in knowing that and going, okay, but I'm paying relatively for the equipment inside that I would get, it might be for you. Because, like, if you were the person who was asking for that D-pad Joy-Con, you probably did want to use it in portable. Because there is a D-pad which you can use when it is docked with the Pro controller, but nothing for just holding it as a portable. And so I think it's going to have its uses. But yes, it definitely still leaves room in the market for another D-pad Joy-Con, whether it's official or not. It
doesn't really get me to. I mean, where do I sit on the whole left side of the Joy-Con having a proper D-pad is. I'm indifferent to it. I'm actually sort of fine with it. It's just once you take the Joy-Con off, though, which is, again, the idea of handing an extra controller and taking off to a console is a basic good idea premise. One of the basic, easy-to-know premises of the Switch's, basic its own structure. Yeah. It's just, as anybody who has it, it is a bit cramped. We know that. And to me, I never did have any issues with a D-pad, with some, with some traditionally 2D games on there. Or games that are just with a 2D plane. Look at this. You kind of hope that Nintendo does something, or I've heard people actually modding their Joy-Cons for this. So that's unless you want to go through.
To me, that's an extreme. But I would like a traditional D-pad. I've heard the argument like you can't have a traditional D-pad because you turn the Joy-Con sideways and hold it like a controller. The individual buttons represent individual buttons. You can do that with D-pad. You can still do it with D-pad up, or D-pad can still be like X, and right can be A, and down B, and left Y. But whatever. I think a traditional D-pad would be nice. But yeah, I don't mind the individual buttons. You kind of get used to them after a while, but it just feels less Nintendo-y. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not the traditional D-pad design by Gunpei Yokoi, obviously. But then again, what was it back in like early 2000s that Nintendo's patent ran out, and that way
everybody had one?
Well, yeah, I think it was like mid 2005 because you remember that old. Okay, you remember that 360 D-pad, which probably one of my favorite controllers out there. But that D-pad was such garbage.
It was, it was hot trash.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I just found it very interesting that their patent, like I think it was on a Gaming Historian episode where it reminded me, is like, yeah, the patent ran out this time. Like, oh, so, but I don't know. I think the one thing as far as with the D-pad, it has to be that right size to me. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that was the one shortcoming I had with the GameCube controller was that its D-pad was pretty small. And yet I have some people who think I'm nutso when I say the GameCube controller is probably one of my favorite Nintendo controllers.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
They think I'm insane. They think I'm insane. I'm like, okay.
That's not a D-pad, Lewis. That's a button.
What's he showing? I can't even see. That's a
plus.
If you move it close enough to the camera, it does look like a D-pad.
Yeah.
It's D-pad.
But it's not a D-pad. It's a
that should be
match it to the painting document. I think you'll find it matches that.
The way you put that up to the screen is just like make the thumbnail for our YouTube clip or something.
I'll find a much sharper looking one than I might consider.
Oh dear.
But yeah, talking about accessories and peripherals for the Switch, let's move over to our non-super topic feature of the week. However, because it's taken that time slot, I think it would be a good time to mention about the super topics in general. Sometimes at this time during this show, we do something called a super topic. And what that is a custom feature by you for this show. It can be anything from a question to a more elaborate feature. Feel free to get creative. And the way you can get involved in this is by supporting us over on patreon.com/Nintendo Voice. If you support us with any amount, you can give us super topic suggestions. And feel free to look at some previous ones we've done. We've done some cool ones, so send some in, and we shall do some super topics again. However, this week we are doing a feature of our own creation, which is what are our most wanted peripherals for the Switch. Who's gonna start?
I'll start.
Bag, but I'm not going first.
I'll start ones that I'm not looking forward to or really don't care about, and it's the one. No. You all have heard about the release of third-party Nintendo Switch docks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The unlicensed docks.
The unlicensed ones, and now they're apparently bricking everybody's consoles if you use them even briefly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little scary to me because, well, it goes back in my head thinking like, okay, I know that the whole second dock set is pretty expensive. I think it's like $70 or $80 over here. It's $70 or $80 over here, and that's of course with the included cables and everything. I think it's like $50 with just the dock and not the cables. But when I heard that story how everything's going, and then reading through several articles, like the whole, like I think it was on Reset Era where I mentioned about the docks, how Nintendo does not test these third-party docks.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Well, they don't test unlicensed peripherals in general. I think that's the key point, where it's a licensed accessory or it's an unlicensed accessory. For the licensed stuff, they do fully test it and they do say, but yeah, it's not illegal to sell an unlicensed product. So you do have these Switch docks on the market, which Nintendo have never dealt with whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones which have reportedly bricked systems after the recent 5.0 update on the Switch.
Yeah,
so it's a word of caution. Don't buy an unlicensed Switch dock. It's not worth it.
No, that's true. It's like I was going to get to. It's like, well, I think at this point when you're wanting a second dock, it's like there's a simple thought. It's like just don't buy a third-party unlicensed dock. Just don't. I mean, I just never really found the appeal in something like. I mean, I guess I was really soured on third-party accessories, like whether controllers or whether it's just controllers or in this case docks. I mean, it goes back to the Mad Catz days. I remember when I asked for an extra GameCube controller. I remember when I asked for an extra GameCube controller for Christmas one year when I got my GameCube, and it was just this weird, shapely, different. Like it's not shaped like a GameCube controller, but it got to that point where it just doesn't fit comfortably in your hand. So
yeah, how many turbo switches did it have?
Say what?
How many turbo switches did it have on it?
Oh God,
17.
I don't know. 17, geez, yes. Oh wow, you can actually pull off smash moves faster. No, I can't. Okay, this is
too many buttons.
It's not buttons. It's like you just feel so ashamed to play this. It's like once you get,
I feel unclean.
Unclean. It's like I'd be that one person at my friend's house, and we'd be like, okay, who wants to play some Smash? And of course, it'd be my house or somebody else. I get handed the Mad Catz controller, and next thing I know it, I'm like, I'm going to get my butt kicked so badly right now, and I'm just going to throw this thing and be hated and everything.
That's interesting, because I did have a Mad Catz controller for the original Xbox. Reason being was the controller that the original Xbox came with was too freaking big. So I got a Mad Catz.
That's
thing.
But
they're bringing it back on. You can buy a Duke now for your Xbox
One. Yeah. I don't own an Xbox One. So
I want to see, are those released yet?
It's not a legal requirement. Just a functional one.
just exactly. But but speaking of like third-party docks, I don't have a third-party dock. I do have a third-party charging station, which I find very useful because I like to keep the Switch by my bed. But I also want to keep I don't want to keep putting, because the Switch battery life is pathetic, frankly. So I don't want to keep moving my actual docking station around so I can keep it charged next to my bed. So I kept that next to my TV, and I thought I'll buy a cheap charging dock, and it works very well. I do wish they would release a bigger battery. for the Switch. I do the Wii U gamepad. I know they won't because I don't think you can take the back off.
Like an officially sanctioned.
Yes.
Like, this is the battery grip for the Switch.
This will boost your battery to 10 hours or something. You know, whatever. You know.
I've seen some of those. I mean, okay, in terms of peripherals we're getting on there, I wouldn't mind a different type of battery pack. I had one that I had saved in my email that I was thinking about. You know, it was a crowdfunding one, but it's one of those things like I want to see that tested out in the wild first before I, you know, make the plunge on something. And oh boy, where is it at?
I do remember seeing a Kickstarter. I might have even seen a couple of them. I know I've seen a
I found this. Here it is. I'll send. I'm sending the link right to all of you right now. It was from Indiegogo. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna find. Where's the chat on here?
Legit.
I know. But anyway, it's from what I'm reading right here. It is a It basically connects to the back of the Switch. 12. Adding 12 plus hours of battery life. And it essentially serves as a kickstand as well. And the total funds it raised was almost close to $400,000. And you can get that for about...
Have people got them yet? Were they promised for now?
Estimated delivery March 2018. So people should be getting these now. And they ship for about $85.
Cool. Well, hopefully they come out soon and we hear some good things. Yeah. Like an additional double-digit battery. That does sound quite nice.
That sounds rather nice. Yeah, and that's pretty much what the Wii U gamepad one gave you like 8. Put it up to 8. It went from like 3 to 8 hours or something like that. But the noticeable change was huge. Like you could play the gamepad for ages and not worry about charging it, which is great. So for me, something like that for the Switch. I do have a grip for my Switch because I hate the fact that it's so flat. in port mode.
What sort of grip's that? It looks quite flat.
It's got little grooves at the back.
Okay.
Like molded grooves, but it's a very cheap grip. I really would like I've seen those battery charged ones that like charge your battery while you hold it. I'm always a bit worried of that because of I've heard of horror stories of third party, anything to do with battery and it's like third party and it's not licensed. Scary. I don't want to risk melting my Switch. So yeah, I kind of wish there'd be an official grip you could buy for the Switch because it's just there's nothing to hold on to with the Switch. It's so flat. So I don't like that it's too flat. The gamepad felt comfortable because it had grooves. You can put your hands into.
Actually, oddly, what might work is I'm not sure if there might even be a rare item already. I remember when they announced ARMS, they also announced you could buy battery extenders. Yeah,
with the AA batteries.
Oh.
But because how that worked, then they had like a bit of a bulge to the back of the Joy-Con. So that would kind of be a natural grip. I've not actually seen a picture of it though. I might have to check that out. Yeah, that could work quite well. What I would like to see is it's a little bit of a cheat suggestion, but I think it's in the realms of the question, which is hard drive.
Can I add something about the Switch charge case? After some digging right now, it seems like one of those things where it could be too good to be true, but reading through Reddit, there's something to suggest it could be a long-running scam, so that's a red flag for me. But unless I see an official review from something out there, that's kind of I don't know. That's one thing I would like to see, something that's a bit of a good. I mean, because right now, portable with this having be on USB-C, outputs, it's nice to have there's some really good portable batteries out there. I've had one of my eyes. It's originally $120 and it's by Anchor. And I'm waiting for that right moment when it just gets under $100 to get it.
That makes sense, yeah. And to me, that might be the solution I'm looking for, really, because I said the Switch battery life it's not the worst, but it does feel like you're getting into an intense gaming session, and it's like you get a little notification in the corner saying, battery system low. It's like,
time for the big screen. That's what it means.
Well, yeah, but if you're on the move, I mean, I say on the move, I've never actually taken my Switch out of my house, but yeah, if you're in the other room and your dock's in your bedroom, you don't want to lug it all the way back into your bedroom just to play a game.
It is a lot to lug, I'll give you that much.
I know, that's the thing.
It's a very heavy system.
It's terrible.
Yeah. It looks gigantic next to my Xbox One, I have to admit, the original. Oh. It dwarfs it. Especially when you take the Joy-Cons off.
Yeah.
So back to my wonderful hard drive idea. And so the reason I'm saying the hard drive is not because I want a hard drive at all.
Just click it into the Switch's camera.
Oh, no, that would be weird. I don't think they would release a hard drive for the Switch until they had added support to move around and back up your saves.
Right.
And so that's why I want the hard drive to be announced, because that means that will be in place for that announcement. So yeah, I just want some way to get my save data out of the Switch when it to be copied. I don't mind if it's in the cloud or if it's in a hard disk for me, where I can just put it on my PC and copy and paste in.
The cloud saves would be a nice sort of thing. I mean,
it's the one thing once you continue to hear all these horror stories from people like, oh, something's wrong with my Switch, send it in, everything's gone. It's just, it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, almost kind of like just want to hold my Switch very tightly to a point where I'm like, don't do anything, please.
Go to sleep at night, just cuddling it.
Yeah. You know what the ironic thing is that
I will keep you safe.
When Nintendo do announce like official cloud save support, I imagine sales of third-party docks will go through the roof.
Exactly, yeah.
Because the fear factor will have disappeared. Oh, I might as well get that fancy dock now. It doesn't matter if it breaks.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the real.
But I think of memory though. I mean, it does. I'm pretty sure at some point we're going to get an upgraded Switch with more memory than 32 gigs built in. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. You know,
possibly, but for in the peripheral sense, we got micro SDs for now, and that's its own thing. It doesn't need to rely on Nintendo to make bigger ones.
That's true.
But other brains are on it, which is good.
Other brains.
Ones which don't get distracted too quickly.
Yes.
Unlike Sony or the Vita, I think we're done with 64 gig now. No one will ever want a bigger card than that.
No, not at the price they were showing. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's like £130 for a 64 gig. I was like, you kidding me? I was like, it's like nearly 200. It's like, no.
I will say though, even though, despite most of your save data being lost, if something like bad, like your Switch breaks, it is nice though if you do. I mean, it's a half measure. It's like, you can still re-download your games regardless, so you don't have to re-button it. That is fine. And
that is a fear I have with my 3DS. Because at a certain point, I went digital only on my 3DS. So there's a lot of games on there. Because they're also games I was never able to trade away or sort of thing. So that collection just grew and grew and grew. The thing is, if I just lose it, someone takes that 3DS, I'm not sure how I get that stuff back. Or even if that's a certainty. Like if I go and buy a 3DS and go to Nintendo, well, these things are clearly on my account. I lost the system. Let me download the obscene amount.
You can't do a system transfer anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a small thing. It is good that those things are protected, but yeah, you do want your save data backed up, especially when this is the start of a new generation.
Now you're getting me worried about my 3DS right now because I have a hefty amount of things on there.
In months.
Oh god.
Although actually, I may be playing again on there because what Nintendo does for my Nintendo members is when it's your birth month, they'll be like, "Hey, get 15% off any of these games." And before years past, it's just been garbage for me. Not bad games. It's just games that I've already owned or I have no interest in. And I saw that Fire Emblem Echoes is on there, and I'm like, oh, and I check that out. But enough of that. I know we're getting off as far as peripherals or things that the Switch needs to be a really good ecosystem. And I know somebody said, well, Netflix needs to be on here. I'm like, yeah, I want it to be on there right now, but it can wait a little bit more. And well, not saying it can wait. It's just knowing that I have this, my phone, or a tablet near to me, I can be able to do it. I know everyone wants everything all one-stop shop type of thing. It is kind of frustrating. It is frustrating it's not on there, but again, beside the point. Peripherals, though, would we kind of consider that almost Nintendo Labo is kind of the same thing, even though it's an extension. It's an extension of that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's its own little thing, but it is related to the Switch in some ways. Yeah, I'm still waiting on that one. I want to see how that pans out. I'm not sold on it at all still. Yeah, I'm intrigued though with the Switch to see what they do with So the Switch has 2 grooves in the side where the Joy-Cons normally go. I'm intrigued to see if they actually will do anything else with those, or it's just purely going to be Joy-Cons.
And that's what seems strange about Joy-Con is the fact that it's a cardboard setup, and the Switch seems so designed to be slotted into things mechanically.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you thought maybe the original part of Labo was, it's going to be these sets of metal grills which are going to snap in.
Yeah.
And then they realised, actually, we can do mostly the same thing with cardboard. That's a lot cheaper. I don't know. That does go into what I would like to see is definitely Joy-Con. And it's not necessarily even like Joy-Con as they look today. Like, as you said, as long as it fits on that rail system, in theory, you can snap any sort of controller in there, which is designed to fit. And so you could, whether it's with, that sort of a shapely grip to it, or just a different sort of design in general. Maybe they would like the equivalent of Xbox's Elite controller, where they do a really fancy Joy-Con where you can swap out the buttons to a D-pad and change the triggers and make them analog or whatever.
They could do a really cool thing where basically you could take. So say you really like the GameCube controller, you could actually get half a GameCube controller that clicks into the side of the Switch, and the other half. That'd be really cool. Or,
there's mock-ups on the line of that, definitely.
Do you think that? Yeah. Do you think that would happen for Smash or okay? Well, we know that the GameCube controller adapter is after an earlier update to the Switch can connect to it. So I think it's an inevitability right now. But do you think we're going to get more people to move more to the Pro controller for that?
Maybe.
Possibly. Ironically, I don't think we'll see a Joy-Con GameCube controller in that sense, but I reckon we will see, and this will probably disappoint a lot of people, but I reckon it's on the money, is a GameCube coloured Joy-Con. So it's just a colour scheme, but the design is identical.
Oh, it'd be lame though, because
exactly identical, but the stick, the right stick will be yellow and such, and.
No, but it has to have the control stick from the
No. No, that's what you want, but that's not
what I want. That's the best control stick I've ever made.
Oh, you get. But they will point out that, and they will sell that GameCube adapter again, so you can use the actual GameCube controller, and they'll probably sell GameCube controllers again.
I'd be disappointed.
Alongside the coloured GameCube Joy-Cons.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah. Would anyone like to see a new light gun? It's been a while.
Oh, light gun! No, you're talking. I think light gun technology is going to die to death.
Yeah, I mean, it's not evolved; it's just gone away. I guess it's kind of gone with VR. In a weird way.
Yeah.
Is that an option?
Some sort of gun peripheral.
Or VR peripheral.
Oh no, I don't think that. VR is a fad that's fading away.
Obviously, on the VR topic, I recently got Google Daydream for my phone.
Okay.
So it's one of the phone VRs, but I'm really impressed with it. It's got some somewhat complex, 3D worlds which animate very smoothly, and it's quite impressive to be immersed in it. It's not of a scale of what you would expect, but the resolution and the quality is there. So I reckon it's the sort of thing a Switch could power as well. Yeah, and the brains behind Nintendo could do some very cool things with VR. I reckon it's possible, but I don't reckon it would be something you just put the Switch into. It would have its own screens built in, and the Switch would be on the dock with a cable going from it to the headset.
Yeah, something like that. That's I
but you got the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are built for VR controllers out in the box, which is handy.
Right.
That's the selling point there, I guess. But you still need to sell a headset.
Yeah, that's true. But I can start bringing back on-rail shooters again, like the Wii had so many on-rail shooters. Yeah, I'll be happy with like some sort of gun peripheral that just works out the box. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure how you link it to your Switch though. That's the only thing.
What, the gun?
Yeah.
Well, it could do the Wii thing, and use the Well, actually, that just uses gyro for the things which have emulated that so far. But I'm sure there's there's ways.
There's a way. There's gonna be a way. Yeah, I don't think the Switch has Bluetooth, does it?
Yeah, Switch has Bluetooth. Yeah, all the controllers are Bluetooth.
Wait. They do have Bluetooth?
Yeah. The controllers and Joy-Cons are all Bluetooth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking basically of the Bluetooth inside the console, which I forgot was like, oh, you can't have like Bluetooth headsets.
Oh yeah, it runs on Bluetooth technology for the controllers, as in like you can pair a Joy-Con or a Pro controller on your Windows PC. And the other thing is, it picks it up exactly. It recognizes it's that type of controller, and all of the buttons map as you would expect them to without.
I see. Okay. No. Now that I remember, I did remember somebody hacking an iPhone to use the Joy-Con controller for a phone.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds about right. What they did with Wii remotes back in the day, they were also Bluetooth.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Nintendo was being oddly smart with certain standards, like SD cards and Bluetooth and certain other things, but not necessarily everything. That's for certain. Any kind of wacky peripheral ideas come to mind? Nintendo's known for wacky accessories. Everything from like Rob the Robot to the reader. There's lots of stuff.
The Donkey Konga drums is clearly the craziest they come up with.
Quite crazier than Rob.
Yeah, Rob's pretty tough to top, isn't it?
He is.
Yeah, he's up there. But I mean, bongos. I mean, I don't know. That's weird to me.
And they recently painted the bongos. They could be coming back. That's a real thing, if you weren't aware.
That's just horrible. We need more bongos in our life. Wacky peripherals. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, aside from drums, maybe.
Did they bring back Guitar Hero?
They did.
I know they did.
That's the problem. Oh, again, you mean?
Again, that's what I mean.
Reboot.
Reboot or reboot. Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm drawing a blank. Well, actually, okay. Hear me out. Even though the Labo does this right now with a fishing rod. Because, well, actually, no. Because that is like, you have the cardboard version. Why use that? In terms of peripherals, maybe, this is really harder to get right now.
It's tough, isn't it?
Well, the classic one actually, this design could work quite well. Remember the ASCII keyboard controller for the GameCube? Yeah. Remember what we were talking about with the Joy-Cons? How they can snap in. Actually, I think this might exist. I might have to check Kickstarter or something.
I have an idea. Okay.
I think I'm saying. Let me quickly finish the thought, which is essentially, that keyboard, and you just snap a Joy-Con either side of it. I'd actually
it's the most ridiculous.
I think that might exist. Thinking about it. But okay, Harrison, what you got?
No, I'm saying, okay. Do you remember an old GameCube controller that essentially had, in the middle of it had a keyboard?
Yes, that's the one I'm mentioning.
Yeah, you're doing that. But you have the Joy-Cons like so, but it's a bottom connection on there where it actually has a keyboard, like at the bottom, and the console actually puts in the top.
Okay.
It could be something small, kind of like what the Xbox, like the Xbox 360 controller had, like a little texting tab whenever people type in messages.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit more practical than my giant suggestion.
It's just like a huge keyboard.
This.
All right, mechanical keys, and then we'll click.
It's the worst idea ever. Yeah. I don't know.
If we add a mouse to this equation, does that help things, Colin?
No, that makes things worse. Why the heck would you want a mouse?
Well, certain games use a keyboard and a mouse to control.
Have they, like, you got analog sticks, you don't need a mouse.
All right, fair enough. The war has been decided, people.
I mean, dude.
Consoles reign supreme in the end.
Is that not valid?
I think it's usually more of a debate between whether a mouse and keyboard gives you better accuracy than a dual stick user. I trust your opinion.
I would say more like a trackball and a keyboard give you more accuracy. Yeah,
possibly. There's probably some trackball players out there. I quite like the stick and motion control, which we've got already, so that's pretty handy. And you don't need any accessories for that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So all right. The talk of the rule by saying, hey, you don't really need any.
You don't need any. It's all in the box. You got your dock. You got your detachable Joy-Cons. You got your grip. One thing you need to do, Nintendo, take note though, is you got to stop packing in the non-charging Joy-Con grips. It's penny pinching. Yeah. And it's unacceptable. The only grip you can buy is a charging grip, right? Can you buy the non-charging version?
No, I don't think you can. I think it's a charging version only.
Exactly. Then just make that one. Put that one in the box.
But that'll raise the price of the system.
By $1?
A bit more than $1, I think. But yeah, I maybe.
It's got no other electrical components. It's a pass-through. It doesn't even have a battery. You know? There's not much going on there, surely.
Take it to Nintendo, Lewis. I don't know.
That's the accessory you need.
There you are.
Put it in the box, and that's it. I think that's going to do it for this show. So what we'll do, same thing we do at the end of every show, we'll go around, we'll give out any contact details we have and anything else we've been up to outside of Nintendo Voice that we'd like you to know about. And Harrison, would you like to go first?
As always, you can reach me at Twitter at @hmilfeld, and if you want to become friends in Switch, I have my profile and my friend code pinned to the top of my Twitter profile.
And yourself, Colin?
Yeah, same as Harrison. You can find me on Twitter at @HighlyandBird. I just dropped something. That's terrible.
Yeah, he's frustrated.
But you can also find my Switch friend code. It's pinned to my profile. Outside of this podcast, I do other things. Remarkably, I do streams. I do streams every day on Mixer. You can find me at mixer.com/HighlyandBird. I just passed 100 followers, which is rather nice. So that's a little milestone I've reached.
What were you playing when you reached this milestone?
Oh, what was I playing? Odyssey? I think I was playing Odyssey.
That would be a good game to play. I hope you're playing that now.
You got me guessing now because it's only recently. In the most recent thing I've been playing was Odyssey. So yeah, maybe that.
All right. Is there anything else about you?
That's me. That's me done.
Yes, not. Just me then. Okay, if you want to get hold of me either on Twitter or Instagram, technically, you can find me at Luvsion, Luvsion, and I don't really have anything to plug apart from check out the. This isn't a Patreon plug per se, but for existing Patreon members, please check us some Super Topic questions. I'm going to extend the very generous offer from last time, where if we get at least 3 different people sending Super Topic questions by the time of the next episode, and we gave you an extra week, we'll do the taste challenge on the Switch cartridges. So there's definitely more than enough supporters for that, because I don't think you'll get bots on Patreon. So chuck us in some questions. We can do that. And that's it. So thanks once again for listening. And this has been Nintendo Voice.
Take care, everybody.
See you later, everyone.